Scrooge, A Christmas Carol is the latest version of the classic Charles Dickens story, A Christmas Carol, this one being a Netflix-produced animated movie. And it's fine. It's a decent enough retelling of the story. I found myself enjoying it most of the time. Again, it's mostly because it's a really good story that's survived over 100 years for good reason. This version inserted a lot of songs, some pretty animation polish over it, some kid-friendly jokes, and it gave Scrooge a dog. What worked and what didn't? Some of the songs I thought were okay. I really liked the Fiancé's song. At the end of The Ghost of Christmas Past, it shows the fiancé of Scrooge in the past when she decides, okay, this man's kind of the worst, I'm gonna leave him. And it's a really great number with her singing and then also with Scrooge from now looking back on this and going, God, I was an idiot. So that's a decent song. I enjoyed the song in Christmas Future where the whole town is celebrating at Scrooge's death just because of how sickly morbid it is. I mean, the main dude is literally dancing on his coffin as it's being carted through town and a whole parade forms cheering. That's some twisted stuff. Which it's very strange how twisted and dark humor that is in a movie where they inserted a dog character so that way they can have, you know, something cute and going along with Scrooge the whole time, and also a funny animated character to judge him as he's being a jerk the whole time, just like the whole time. And also he's there to provide fart jokes and other people like interacting with the dog rather than Scrooge. Don't get me wrong, I love me a good dog. I have no issue with the dog as a character in this movie. It's just how the movie uses him. I refuse to blame the dog. And that's another issue with that I have with this movie is like they have the most egregious example of which that I could say is the Ghost of Christmas Present has a whole slew, army, I don't know, of weird creatures that reminded me of the Pixies from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Just mischievous little things like crashing into windows in the background of scenes that they don't even need to be there. Just giggling and doing slapstick stuff with each other. Obviously, this movie is not made for me. It is a kid movie aimed at kids. There are some moments where I think it chooses to go the low-hanging fruit, the easy route with that, like some of the slapstick from these pixie things, the dog farting in Scrooge's face at one point. Just some instances where I'm like, ugh. For such an intelligent story, and for some of the character depth that they do put into this story, you're underselling how intelligent your intended audience of kids can be. But kids are very emotionally intelligent. And I don't know, it felt disingenuous to me to put fart jokes in the middle of this. I don't know. I enjoyed some of the jokes. The ghosts making fun of Scrooge. Well, I'm fine with that. It fits. So where do I think this fits over? I guess I should also bring up, maybe this is in the book, and I have not read the book, but I don't think this has been in other versions, adaptations that I've seen of Christmas Carol before. They delve into Scrooge's sister, which makes sense because in every version of the story he has a nephew who's much more jolly than he is. So it makes sense to go, oh, Scrooge had some sibling that then had a kid. So this delves into that relationship. It helps form the foundation of the relationship between him and his nephew, and also gives us some parallels to Tiny Tim, which a little forced, but again, it's a kid movie, and gives us some other thing for Scrooge's happiness to be built on in his younger days and then shattered from, rather than just a romantic partner. I also, maybe in other versions, his romantic partner dies, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Her going, oh, he's kind of the worst, and I've given him chances to change and he hasn't, and then deciding to leave. And then the movie blatantly says, like, yeah, then she got married and lived a happy life. I liked that. And then I also liked Scrooge at the very end going, I'm glad she found happiness. Time for me to find mine. So, again, there's some really good stuff in this movie. Again, a lot of it is coming from the source material, but they do well enough with it, and the animation in a lot of sequences is really nice to look at, even if I think it's a little over the top for the story being told. And that's most of the downsides of this, is some of the tone, some of the characters goes against kind of the tone and drags it down. So, hi Jack. So overall, I think this is a pretty mixed movie. I'm fine with the fact that I saw it once. If I had kids, I would definitely show it to them. But it's not a version that I will be going back and rewatching ever, really. Unlike Muppets Christmas Carol, which we'll be talking about very soon because its 30th anniversary is coming up. So yeah, this is definitely no Muppets Christmas Carol, but it's not without its merits. That's my thoughts on Netflix's Scrooge: A Christmas Carol. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have kids, how do they like it? I'm curious to know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good week.